Hello, week 17? Let's say 17. It's Tuesday, not Wednesday. I'm not home tomorrow, so I'm just doing this 18 hours early. There won't be much growth between now and then, hopefully, or changes, but you never really know. This was a tomato plant last week, I think, and it is now a pot of dirt. I killed the tomato plant was already basically dead, so I just pulled it out. I'm starting to do some cleanup to get ready for fall planting. So that wasn't doing anything. Good riddance to it. Rest in peace. These were the pepper plants that used to be in the raised bed, I think. And they weren't doing so well over there, so I put them in this pot just because I felt bad throwing them out. And they actually have liked it a lot better over here. There's actually a couple of peppers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, growing on this one. They're little tiny, tiny babies. Like that's the size of my thumbnail. But considering they were basically dead, that's not bad. The garlic, well, turns out that huge thing that was in here was a weed. So it blocked out all the garlic. This is probably just going to be turned over, put in some new compost, and plant new garlic probably next month or later this month, but for now it's just there. There's actually some garlic in there. We'll see if it comes back to life. I'm pretty sure it's all dead though. Really need to get better at identifying weeds. Cucumber or lemon cucumber, it's still not looking great. I don't know if the leaves are supposed to be this color or if it's just lacking some sort of nutrients, but there's tons of flowers on here. I haven't gotten any new lemon cucumbers in probably at least a week or two, and I don't really see any growing. There's like a little baby one, but it looks like it has some end rot already, so I'm not really sure. I'm gonna let it go, see if anything comes of it. There's still that one like deep green one in the middle, so maybe that one's still doing okay. The others don't look so hot. Maybe something will come of all those flowers. We'll find out. This cherry tomato plant I've been picking basically every single day. I go in the house with at least a handful or two of cherry tomatoes and regular tomatoes every morning. There's not a ton of red left on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8. But there are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, at least 30 or 40. Oh, well, way more. Maybe even 40 or 50 little green ones on here. So we should get a second round. And I don't see any more flowers forming, so maybe that'll be the last of it. But there's still a lot going on here. It just doesn't look as exciting because there's no little red ones, or not a lot of little red ones, but there's tons of these green guys just waiting. I also moved a lot of the plants that were on the other side of the yard over to this side because that side tends to be in the shade a lot more than it used to. The sun's moved a bunch since the start of the summer. So this is the mint. It's not looking so great. It used to be over there, now it's over here. We'll see if it gets better. The raspberry is no change actually from last week, other than maybe it's a little bit taller. But the strawberries are in between phases right now. So there's a couple of strawberries left on there, not a ton. There's like this bunch here, another one there, another one there, and that's it. This one, I think there's 1 or 2 strawberries in there, but it seems like we're reaching the end of the strawberry run, and I've been eating them again every day. So I don't really care that, well, I do care it's almost over because I'll miss them, but considering that this plant started out this big, just like 3 little leaves in there, and 3, and it became this mess. Pretty excited about that. This week, over the weekend, I think, I started to get the runners ready for future planting. So this is clearly not going to fit in this pot next year. So I need to figure out a better solution, and I thought of maybe doing like a raised bed over here. But then I found this whole garden or strawberry tower thing that you build with milk crates. So I think that's going to be my solution, but we'll see. For now, I'm just getting the runners established in their own little pots here, aka red solo cups. And theoretically, there's a lot of runners. I think I counted 12 little runner cups. So theoretically these will root, well they're already rooted, but re-root, and in a week or two I'll be able to cut them off from the main plant and put them in somewhere else in their own new home. and get those established for next year. So for now, these are just kind of hanging here, getting established, and I think maybe in the next couple weeks I'll start to figure out the tower situation so that it's ready. We'll find out. The edamame is still producing. Like, this side is doing way better than that side, and I've just left some pods on there. I actually haven't even eaten them. There's just not enough to make it worth boiling the water. So, we'll see. I don't know if these will, I'll maybe keep the seeds for next year, dry them out and keep them for next year. Like, this is probably, yeah, when that dries out, I can probably get that seed out of there. So, an experiment. We'll find out. One of these is peppers, and no, not peppers. One of these is string beans, and one of these is cilantro. And I can't tell you which one's which right now, but my other cilantro is doing really, really well. So I figured, while it's still warm out, let me get another one running, because I eat a ton of cilantro. And while I was at it, I decided to throw some string beans in, because why not? So one is one is the other, and because it's been really warm, and of course now it's been cooler, I'm trying this whole new mulching thing, where I just throw some grass clippings on top to sort of keep moisture in and keep it from, especially with the pots, it's been a problem, they dry out so quickly. So this is sort of a new experiment. I tried it in the bed, I think I showed that last week, and it just kind of turns to hay and then composts in, so no harm, no foul. Makes it look interesting, and it does remind me that I put something in there versus it being an empty pot, which I have a few of at the moment. But yeah, string beans and cilantro. We'll find out which one's which when they sprout. And over here, here's the cilantro plant, which is doing amazingly. I'm probably gonna have to pick it soon because I'm worried it's gonna bolt, but it's been pretty cool, and I intend to eat it all. Those are all flowers that are soon to be unpotted. And then this was, what was in here? Oh, basil. I can't remember if I did that last week or this week now, but this was a basil plant. Wasn't really doing very well. The ones in the back are doing better, so pulled that out. And I had a bunch of extra compost in a bag. So this has been sort of my staging area. I just kind of take the compost out of here and put it wherever I need it, instead of opening a new bag and leaving a half-empty bag over there. So that's what this is at the moment. It's just a feeder for everything else, hence my cups. But it will be something, probably radishes. I had radishes in here at the start of the season, and they did really, really well. So once it gets a little bit more consistently cooler, I'll probably put more radishes in here. All right. This is all in the shade now, but hopefully we can see what's going on here. The wildflowers are a mess. After all the rain and stuff, we've had a bunch more of these pink ones come up, but there's tons of weeds in there, way, way more than last year. Like, I just pulled out a weed that was this tall. I'm pretty sure it was a weed, at least. Again, need to get better at identifying weeds, but this is just way messier than it was last year. It's actually kind of bothering me. I mean, look, the fence it won't stay up because it keeps being pushed by the flowers and stuff. So if those didn't just bloom, I would probably yank the whole thing out this weekend, to be honest. But I know it still has some life in it, and I feel bad just kind of cutting it off prematurely. So it's going to have to stay messy for a little bit longer, I think. And down here, I pulled out, I really can't remember what I did last week versus this week, but I pulled out that extra broccoli plant. I think that was last week, actually. And the zucchini, actually, this is the decapitated part. So the one that was in the raised bed was the one that was rooted, and this is the decapitated head that fell off while I was dealing with my bug issue. And I just stuck it in the ground, and it's actually creating, these are all new leaves since I put it in. And those are the original leaves that I'll probably cut off shortly now that there's some, like, good leaves in here. But I'm pretty sure it's too late in the year for zucchini. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed, but it's nice to know that it'll, like, reestablish itself. So if nothing else, I learned something. But I'm still really bummed I'm not gonna get any zucchini. And then this is the decent basil plant, not the best one. The best one is that one so far. It's still, I think these wildflowers are really getting in the way of sun, especially now this point in the season. The sun's a bit further over that way, so it's technically shading everything that's over here, but I have a plan for next year. I'm going to push them way further back and sort of arrange it better, but I really didn't expect them to get, they were not this crazy last year, but I mean, come on, that looks pretty cool. I can't hate them. They're so cheerful. Anyway, where were we? This broccoli is doing okay, not nearly as big as the other ones, but not eaten alive like the one that I had to pull out. So, okay. This pepper plant has 3 peppers on it, and they've gotten probably double the size from last week, if not more. I haven't seen any new flowers or peppers sort of take hold in here. No, there were some flowers on it, but I think those have all not been pollinated. But either way, 3 peppers I'll take. I don't know how long they take to grow, but I'm sure they're edible now. I just want bigger peppers. We've had some changes here. If you notice, the guard flamingos have moved. So the radicchio is back here, and I planted a new set of carrots here, and a certain Penelope Pixel likes to walk through here, and you can see holes from where she steps. So this is where the guard flamingos are now, protecting what is hopefully the carrots. Couldn't remember exactly where the line was, but I think it's right there. That tomato plant, that tomato plant in the back I've also been picking every day. If you remember last week, there were like gradients of color back there, but there's still a ton of cherry tomatoes on there. They're all still green like the other plant, but I mean tons. And this one is producing bigger tomatoes. Like these are probably an inch and a half and in diameter, and the ones from the other plant have been smaller than that. So these are probably the better ones. I might save a couple and see if I can harvest some seeds or whatever, because this has been a much stronger plant. But I don't even like tomatoes, so who knows. But again, this whole mess back here, like, you can't even see it. That's basically a wild tomato plant back there. I have to literally like thread myself through this corn to get to them to pick them. It's definitely a sight to behold. Corn, let me just back up, hasn't really grown much anymore. I don't really expect it to. But we have some like solid looking ears here. Like that one's pretty good. There's another one back there. That one's looking pretty good. What else is there? There's another one in the way back there you can see. And actually, ooh, that one that's hiding behind the cucumbers is also really good. So I think we'll get at least 4 or 5 like solid ears, and then maybe a couple of smaller ones. Like this one's actually probably pretty close to being pickable. Still a little ways to go, I think, but almost there, almost there. And then here, where there's more footprints, I've done a new little spinach bed. Under there, new little spinach bed. They like warm weather, so they're in now, but they'll also deal well, hopefully, as it gets cooler. So hopefully that'll work. My goal this time is to get, well, A, more, and B, I just don't think I picked it well this time, or it didn't grow. I don't know what happened. I think it was in May or June. Like, it just didn't grow well. So I'm hoping this is like a shadier spot. It's compost now, actually. I've changed my soil. So when we first got all of this, we just got soil delivered from the garden center, and it wasn't really super rich because we were getting so much of it. So I went to Lowe's a couple days ago now, probably on Friday, and bought like tons of compost bags. And so now every time I plant something new, it's on compost. So there's compost mixed in there, there's compost mixed in there. What else is new? All the new plants in the pots and things are all on compost. So I'm hoping that's going to help with growth. I think that was part of the problem in the bed. It just was not super rich soil. Okay. Speaking of, cucumbers. Oh my god, we have so many freaking cucumbers. I don't know if you saw a picture. I've probably cut up a good dozen cucumbers to make pickles, and we still have at least a dozen and a half sitting there. I eat them every day. Like, I can only eat so many cucumbers, but there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just picked a really good one today. It was more narrow like that one, but probably twice the length, which I like because that means there's not as many seeds in them. I hate cucumber seeds. There's a bunch more down here. Oh, there's someone. Oh, couple hiding back there. This is starting to get even more yellow and like dead at the bottom. So not really sure what's going on there, but it could just be part of the natural phase of it, hopefully. There's also, because it's been so rainy and not super warm, some mosquito mildew or whatever these, I forget what they are at the moment, but there's a mosquito attacking me, I can't think. Some little moldy, mildewy spots on the leaves, which I don't love, but hopefully it's supposed to warm up again starting tomorrow, so hopefully that'll resolve all of that. Then on to the eggplants. Let's see, what do we have here? We have an eggplant there. We have, I thought I saw another one. Where did it go? We have what will be another eggplant there. And I thought there was 3 on this plant, but I could be wrong. Yep, it's back there. Oh wait, is that the one I pointed to? No, it's in there. So right there. So I counted 3, I think, on this plant, and then 4 or 5 on the other plant. This one doesn't have, it might have 1 actually, but I don't see anything. Oh, hello. There's another one. Okay, so eggplants are starting to come in. Head over to the other eggplant plant while we're on the topic. Ugh. And there's that guy. That's the biggest eggplant we have now. That one's coming in. Where did I see the other ones? I saw a bunch earlier. It's not as sunny now, so there's another one coming in over there. I thought there were 4. 1, 2, 3. Well, they're somewhere. So yeah, eggplants are coming in, which is exciting. I don't really like eggplant, but it was taking so long I didn't know if they would actually produce anything. While we're over here, the Brussels sprout's still doing okay. Still being eaten a little bit. Hasn't really grown super tall or wider actually since last week, but it is growing, so happy with that. And then this is a volunteer pea plant. Can't tell you if it's a snow pea or a snap pea. It just appeared. Not entirely sure what I want to do with it yet. It's gonna need to be trellised, and I don't have any more trellising stuff because it's all occupied at the moment. Wasn't expecting to have a pea, so maybe I'll put the tomato cage around here actually. We'll see. Either way, there's a random pea. And this, I can't remember what it is right now. Oh, beets. So I planted bull's blood, I think, beets. So there's going to be a couple rows of those here. I think I put those seeds in yesterday. And then these will be more carrots. These are scarlet nants. The other ones are Danvers, or Nantes, I don't know what they're called. And the other ones are Danvers. So I planted Danvers the first time around, and those came out like decent, but small. So these are a different variety entirely. So we'll see if those do better here. And then this, you can actually see, we have sprouts now coming out of the mulch. These are carrots. These 2 rows, there's 1, 2, are Tokyo bunching onions, which are basically white onions and scallions kind of things. These are the purple onions. I actually picked 2, 1, 2, because they were so shaded by the lettuce that they actually didn't really form. So those are drying out. They're like this big. They're kind of cute. But this guy, I think this guy holds some promise. Look at that. That is solid. And there's a couple of good ones in there. So I don't know how much longer they'll take, but they're there. This tomato probably picked a bunch off, and there's a whole lot more coming. This one's been much more prolific than the other one that is probably also San Marzano. But probably picked 4 or 5 off of this one, maybe more. I've lost track. It's doing way better. It still doesn't look super healthy, but it's doing better. And broccoli. Leaves are getting bigger, also not being eaten as much, so I'm happy with that. This one actually is planted over here, and it's curved itself over here, which kind of killed this whole planting spot. This was the zucchini. I finally gave up on it. It's dead. Rest in peace. And it's also crowding out, rather this broccoli is crowding out this broccoli, and that broccoli is crowding out that broccoli, but I'm just going to let a whole survival of the fittest thing go on, and we'll see what we get. Celery keeps growing. It's bushier. It's getting cooler, so it should even get bigger now. Nothing more to update on that one. This cherry tomato plant hasn't been producing a ton. Like, I've picked a couple off from down there, but now I counted earlier today, I think it was, and I think I counted 80 or more cherries just sitting there waiting, and that was actually might have even been yesterday. And it's actually, this is taller than me now, and it just keeps growing and flowering, so I think we'll still have cherries for a while. This poor plant has had issues from the get-go, and I had to chop off this whole branch here, which had like 4 or 5 tomatoes on it. It was actually really heavy when I cut it off. I was so sad. It had fungus spots all over them, so they had to go. So now there's only just those 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm hoping that by getting rid of those, it'll produce more flowers, which there's some here, so maybe it'll keep going. But as of right now, the poor thing is a stick. We'll find out. This was the tomato plant I just jammed in here, and it has a tomato on it. I think, oh, actually the other one I jammed in also has a, what am I looking at here? There. Also has a tomato on it. So those are doing better than, oh, 2 tomatoes on it. Doing better than anticipated. This is the other Brussels sprout. You can see the size difference. It's like half the size of the one that's in the shade, which you can see back there. So I think they definitely prefer the shade. Note for the future. Kale's still doing awesome. I've been chopping it up, and it just keeps growing. I think it might actually grow straight through the winter, which I was totally not expecting. And the other cucumber plant, still picking, still growing. The bees still love it. They were attacking me the other day. Yeah. It's kind of an in-between phase right now. I was actually just saying earlier, like, there's not a lot to look at in the garden because it's kind of between, like, the stuff that's growing is grown and either just producing or just ripening. And then on the flip side, there's stuff in the ground, so you can't even see anything. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 spots or 6 spots where it's just seeds in the ground. Like this, I planted yesterday. These are Jacky Little pumpkins. So you know those little, like, this big pumpkins and that tall? The cute little ones that you get like farmers markets for decoration and stuff? Hopefully that's what these will be. And the plan is for them to grow, and I'm going to let them vine out into that mess over there, which is my tomato experimentation ground, which by the time these grow, those will be gone, and probably the other plants. So I'm hoping I timed it exactly so that they'll be ready for Halloween, if the weather works with me. So fingers crossed I will have pumpkins for Halloween. If not, I'll definitely have them for Thanksgiving, assuming I don't get a squash vine borer again. But I should hopefully have my very own pumpkins for Thanksgiving and Halloween. So that's pretty exciting. I think that is it. Looking around, I have a whole bunch more seeds. So the guy I buy my seeds from online had a sale, and his seeds, which are usually 99 cents, were on sale for like 70% off. So I bought a whole bunch of seeds for like 30 cents a pop. So I have, what do I have? Probably, well, in total I have about 5 or 6 varieties of radish to put in once some of this clears out. I have cauliflower, which will go in where the tomatoes are once the tomatoes are done because they're pretty big. So once these plants are through, they'll come out and I'll put the cauliflower there. What else did I get? The pumpkins, the beets, 2 radishes. Oh, leeks, which I'm excited for. I actually have never had leeks before, and then I had leek soup that my aunt made a couple weekends ago, and it's really tasty and healthy. So I figured, and they go over winter, like I can plant them now and I can still pick them in the winter. So I don't know where those are going to go. That's part of my dilemma at the moment, is like those will all be coming out in the next month or 2, and all the radishes and stuff will go in when that happens. But I want to make sure with the things that need to get in now, like the pumpkins had to get in, the beets and the spinach had to get in, and everything else can kind of wait a little bit longer. And the carrots, well, I just had the space, so I put them in because I like carrots. But yeah, that's kind of where things are now. It's like waiting for things to produce that are later producing. The things that are producing now are just still going, so there's nothing like new and exciting to look at. And then like phase 3 is sprouts and new seeds. So it's kind of cool. There's like a whole cycle going on. But I feel like my garden isn't as exciting at the moment. It was exciting to plant yesterday, though, even though it was pouring rain. That's it. This video's gotten way too long. Until next week, which I think is week 18, insane, and hopefully we'll be picking more stuff. See you then.